You know, in Revelation chapter 12, verse 11, it says, they overcame by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto death. I'd like to share with you a true testimony. I had been ministering to the Yupik Indians, and maybe another day I can share with you a lot of things that happened when I was there, but I had to go back to Wisconsin, had to make some money in order that I could continue to minister. And so I flew back to Wisconsin, and it was the winter time. I got back to Wisconsin, got a job at Waukesha, Wisconsin, at a company that made transformers for like the telephone poles. And I don't know why, it was pretty stupid, but I bought myself a motorcycle. Now, I should have bought a car, but I bought a 750 Honda. And it was in my heart to drive this motorcycle back up to Alaska. But anyway, so I got this 750 Honda, and spring was coming. And I got up one morning, and it was still, getting some snow, freezing rain. It's still pretty cold out, but I bundled myself up to go to work. Well, I got on the motorcycle, and I headed out, and I got to the main highway. Now, I don't know why I didn't recognize it, but as I got to the main highway, I was passing the other traffic up. They were all going pretty slow. When all of a sudden, when it was just too late, I realized what was going on. The highway was black ice everywhere, just black ice. And I began to feel my motorcycle, and I'm doing about 50 miles an hour, I began to feel my motorcycle slipping out from underneath me. Now, as my motorcycle was beginning, and thank God I had crash bars front and back, but I began to feel my motorcycle slipping out from underneath me, and I entered into that realm where everything slows way up. I mean, it's almost like taking a sports video and putting it on the slowest playback. And everything slowed way up. Now, when everything slowed, because in the natural, things are moving very fast. My motorcycle is flipping over on its side, and it's a heavy-duty 4-cylinder motorcycle, and I'm just a little guy. But as it begins to flip over on its side, it's like I could feel the rhythm of the movement of the motorcycle. And so I pulled my I believe it was my right leg. It must have been flipping over. Let's see, it was flipping over to my right side. And so, yes, so I pulled my right leg out from underneath the motorcycle as it's flipping. And as it's flipping, I crawled over onto the top of this motorcycle. Now, while this is happening, my heart is not racing. I am not excited. I am not panicking. I have such overwhelming peace. I mean, I've got a peace that passes understanding. And as this motorcycle is flipping over, I'm crawling up on the top of this motorcycle, and I end up on the top of the motorcycle while it is sliding down the highway. Now, I'm riding on the top of this motorcycle on the side of the bike as it's laying down on the highway as if I'm on some kind of magic carpet ride. And I remember as the bike is sliding down the highway, I'm passing other cars up. Now, thank God there was no car in front of me. It was like a 3 or 4 lane highway. And so I'm passing these people up, and I'm just sailing down the highway, and I'm just sitting there, just thanking God for his protection, thanking God for his help. And I'm just riding, and people are staring at me as my motorcycle is just flying down the highway, Eventually, I don't know how far I slid. I must have slid about, I had to slid at least maybe 200-300 feet. I'm sliding down the highway, and finally it slowed up, and finally it completely came to a stop. Now, that's a big motorcycle, and in the natural, it's very hard for me to get up off the ground, but I jumped off the motorcycle, and it had to be the strength of God. I picked that motorcycle up like it was nothing. I put it back straight up, got back on it, put it back in gear, because all of this time the engine never stopped running, got back on the motorcycle and headed back off to work.